It was early Sunday morning when you hear the familiar sound of small sleepy footsteps echoing through the quiet house. Mom, where are you? Jongo called out in his sleepy tone, his voice soft and groggy as he stood in the living room rubbing his eyes. I am in the kitchen, sweetheart. You called back, wiping your hands on a towel. Jongo, still clutching his favorite stuffed tiger, entered into the kitchen room. His hair was a mess and his little pajamas hung loosely on his small frame. You smiled warmly at the sight of him as he made his way over to you. Your husband Taehyung was still asleep. Being the leader of one of the city's most influential mafia families meant he often worked late into the night. His responsibilities were immense, ensuring the family business ran smoothly, managing alliances, and protecting your family from countless threats. Despite the danger and weight of his work, Taehyung was a doting father and a deeply loving husband. He made sure to prioritize moments like these, rare as they were, to spend time with you and Jongwoo. Sundays were special, a day to set aside his title as the mafia boss and just be husband and father. You cherished these mornings when you could all be together. They were a reminder that no matter how chaotic your lives became, this little family was your safe haven. Jongwoo climbed onto a stool at the counter, his small hands resting on the edge as he watched you with a sleepy smile. Good morning, mommy. Good morning, my tiger, you replied softly, planting a kiss on the top of his head. What are you making? He asked, his voice curious as he sniffed the air. Pancakes, you said, flipping one on the stove. Your favorite. Jongwoo grinned, his sleepiness melting away at the thought of his favorite breakfast. Taehyung appeared in the kitchen doorway, his hair adorably messy and his expression googy but undeniably handsome. Good morning, he murmured in his deep, sleep-roughed voice, his lips curling into a small smile when he spotted you. Before you could respond, Taehyung stepped closer, closing the distance between you. He leaned down, his lips brushing against your cheek in a familiar, gentle kiss. The touch sent a warm shiver through you, and you found yourself smiling softly. But just as you started to relax, a sudden force pushed Taehyung backward. Hey! Taehyung exclaimed, stumbling slightly as Jongwoo wedged himself between the two of you, arms outstretched as if protecting you from some unseen danger. No one is taking mommy from me, Jongwoo declared, his small face crunched up in the determination. Taehyung blinked at his son, then glanced at you clearly amused. Whoa, buddy, I was just saying good morning to my wife. She is not just your wife, she is my mommy, and you can't take her away. Jongwoo, you said softly, crouching down beside him. Daddy isn't taking me away, he's just saying good morning. Jongwoo shook his head furiously, his little hands clutching onto your apron. No, every time you are with Daddy, he hugs you and kisses you, and then I don't get to sit with you anymore. He always takes you away from me. Taehyung crouched down to meet Jongwoo's eyes level. Listen, little tiger, I'm not taking mommy away, okay? I just wanted to say good morning to her, just like you did. Then why do you kiss her? You bite back a laugh, trying to keep a straight face as Jongwoo continued his passionate argument. Jongwoo, Daddy loves me just like you do, and I love both of you equally, but it's okay for Daddy to say good morning, don't you think? No, Jungkook huffed, crossing his arms again. He can say good morning, but no hugging or kissing. Taehyung raised an eyebrow, clearly enjoying the standoff. So I can't even give your mom a good morning kiss now? No. You son turning to Taeyang with a playful smirk. I think someone might need a little extra attention today, you said, gesturing to your son. Taeyang nodded, a knowing smile tugging at his lips. Looks like it. Okay, you two devils, go and get freshened up. I will set the table for breakfast, you said with a soft laugh, waving them off. Taeyang nodded, stretching his arms before leaning down to scoop Jongwoo into his strong hold. Alright, little tiger, let's get you washed up, Taeyang said, lifting Jongwoo effortlessly. Jongwoo pouted but let his father carry him. Although he adored his dad, he was undeniably a mama's boy. Jongwoo always clung to you, treating Taeyang like a rival whenever his father tried to show you affection. He acted as if he were your protector, never allowing Taeyang to touch you without putting up a playful fight. As they prepared the table, the sound of giggles and laughter drifted down from upstairs. Whatever was happening, it sounded like they were having their time. A while later, Taeyang and Jongwoo came downstairs, both laughing uncontrollably. You noticed immediately that Jongwoo's hair was still damp, sticking out in all directions, and Taeyang's shirt had wet patches on it, hinting at some mischief. Your heart melted at the sight of them. Seeing your two boys so happy together filled you with warmth. What's going on? You asked, curious about what could have made them laugh so much. Why are you two laughing like that? Mommy, we had a water fight. A water fight? He repeated, glancing between them with a smile. Yes, Daddy was washing his face and I threw water at him, then he threw water back at me. Tang crossed his arms and leaned casually against the counter. Let me clarify. Someone thought it was funny to ambush me while I was mid-rinse. Jongwoo burst into giggles, cutting him off. And then Daddy chased me, but I grabbed water from the sink and threw it at him again. And you prompted, looking at Taeyang. And then it turned into an all-out war. He managed to splash me a few times, but I made sure he got soaked in return. Mommy, Daddy looked so funny with water dripping down his face. He kept saying, you are in a big trouble now, but he was laughing too. You couldn't help but laugh. So, let me get this straight. The two of you turned the bathroom into a battlefield? Yes, but don't worry, Mommy. We cleaned it up. Shaking your head, you placed your hands on your hips. Well, as long as you two had fun and didn't hurt each other, I will let it slide this time. Yay! Jungkook cheered, running to the table to take his seat. Taeyang followed, ruffling Jungwoo's hair as he passed. You placed a plate in front of Taeyang and then pulled Jongwoo onto your lap, cradling him close as you began feeding him little bites of pancakes. Here you go, sweetheart, you cawed, holding the fork to his mouth. Jongwoo eagerly opened up, chewing happily while leaning against you. Taeyang, who had been watching the two of you with a soft smile, leaned back and said, Ryan, you always take care of your baby boy so well, he said, pouting slightly. But what about me? What about me, huh? Don't I deserve some attention too? You looked up at him with a chuckle, already melting at his playful tone. Taeyang, you're not a baby, you teased, cutting another piece for Jongwoo. But I could be, Taeyang argued, placing his elbow on the table and resting his chin in his hands, his big eyes staring at you like a puppy. I'm starving and you're just ignoring me. Feed me too, will you? You couldn't resist his request. Fine, you big baby, you said with a laugh, picking up a forkful of pancakes to feed him. Before the fork could reach Taeyang's mouth, Jongwoo suddenly grabbed your wrist. No, mommy, you can't feed daddy. He's not a little baby like me. He's all grown up. He can eat by himself. Taeyang's jaw dropped at his son's words. Yeah, Jongwoo, I'm your father. Show some respect. Jongwoo smirked, leaning against your chest with a cheeky grin. Mommy is mine. You can eat by yourself, daddy. You couldn't help but laugh at their playful banter, shaking your head as you looked at Taeyang. He's got a point, you know. You're perfectly capable of feeding yourself. Taeyang pouted, crossing his arms like a child. This little tiger always interrupts when I want to spend time with my wife, he complained, his tone filled with mock frustration. She's my mommy, Jongwoo shot back, sticking his tongue out at his father. Yeah, Jongwoo, you might be mommy's baby now, but don't forget who she loved first. It's me, of course, right, mommy? He looked up at you with wide, innocent eyes that made you smile. Of course, you are my baby. But daddy is not wrong. He was here first. Jongwoo pouted dramatically, crossing his arms as if he had just been betrayed. That's not fair, but I'm her favorite now, so I win. Tang raised an eyebrow, his lips curling into a smirk. Oh, you think you have won, huh? You are forgetting something important, little tiger. What? Tang leaned back in his chair, his smirk widening. Without me, you wouldn't even be here, you know. You immediately slapped his shoulder again, your face flushed. Tang, stop saying things like that in front of him. You groaned, covering your face with your hand. Taeyang, I swear. Taeyang laughed. Maybe you should stop teasing him so much, Taeyang. He is just being protective of his mommy. That's right, I have to protect mommy from you, daddy. You are always trying to take her away. And what exactly do you think I am going to do, huh? You might steal her kisses. Taeyang gasped, leaning forward dramatically. I'm going to steal her kisses. Watch. Taeyang moved towards you, but Jongwoo quickly turned in your lap, throwing his tiny arms out to block Taeyang. No, no kisses, daddy. You burst into laughter as Taeyang sat back, pretending to sulk. Alright, you two devils, that's enough. Finish your breakfast before it gets cold. Taeyang gave you one last pout but nodded, taking another bite of his food. Just you wait, Vian. I will get my turn eventually. Jongwoo giggled again, still hugging you as if to shield you from Taeyang. You all spending the afternoon together in the garden. You was seated reading a book while Taeyang and Jongwoo playing. Daddy, you can't catch me. Jongwoo shouted, his small legs moving as fast as they could. Taehyung smirked, lying down on the grass and looking up at the sky. "You're lucky. You're cute, Jongwoo. Otherwise, I would really show you how good I am at soccer." Jongwoo giggled, turning to you. "Mommy, can we have ice cream now? I think I deserve it for winning." "Alright, but only if Daddy agrees. Do you think he's forgiven you for scoring that goal against him?" Taehyung sat up, pretending to think about it. I don't know. Should I forgive him, Ryan?" "Taehyung, don't be mean. He earned that goal fair." "Fine, let's all have ice cream to celebrate Jongwoo's victory." Jongwoo cheered, and the three of you headed inside, the sound of laughter echoing through the garden. At night, after dinner, the three of you sat together for a while, basking in the warmth of your family moments. As the clock tickled closer to Jongwoo's bedtime, you gently ruffled his hair and said, "Alright, little tiger, it's time for you to get some sleep now." "Okay, but only if you promise to read me a story." "I promise," you said, smiling as you led him towards his room. Before you left, you turned back to Taehyung. "I'll take care of him. You relax." Taehyung shook his head, standing and stretching. "I'll clean up the kitchen. You focus on getting our little champ to bed." "What story do you want to hear tonight, baby?" "The one where the tiger protects his family." You chuckled. "Again, that's the third time this week." "It's my favorite." You began narrating the story, your voice soothing and calm. Halfway through, Jongwoo's soft snores filled the room. Smiling to yourself, you leaned down and kissed his forehead. "Good night, my little tiger," you whispered, pulling the blanket up to his shoulder before quietly leaving the room. Silently, you walked up behind him and wrapped your arms around his waist, leaning your head against his back. He froze for a moment before a soft chuckle escaped his lips. "Does he fall asleep?" You smiled against him. "Yes." Taehyung wiped his hands with a towel before turning around in your embrace, wrapping his arms around you in return. "You must be tired." You shook your head. "Not really, but I'm sorry." He raised an eyebrow, tilting his head slightly. "Sorry? For what?" "For not giving you enough attention. You know how Jongwoo is. He always wants me around, and I feel like I'm neglecting you sometimes." Taehyung smiled softly, lifting a hand to cup your cheek. "Wyan, you don't have to apologize for that. He is our son. It's natural for him to want to be close to you." "I know, but sometimes I feel like I'm being unfair to you." He shook his head, leaning down slightly so his forehead touched yours. "You're being a wonderful mother, and honestly, it's kind of sweet to see how much he wants to protect you. It makes me proud to see how much he loves you. He's just like me. He wants to protect you, keep you close. The way he clings to you reminds of me. But don't worry, I will always wait for my time with you, even if I have to share you with our little tiger." "Always," he murmured, his arms tightening around you. "You and Jongwoo are my world, Ryan, and I will do everything I can to make sure you both were happy." The two of you stood there in the quiet of the kitchen, holding each other as the night stretched on. It was moments like this, simple, heartfelt, and filled with love, that reminded you just how lucky you were to have Taehyung by your side.